It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Monday, August 26th. I am very Mondayed up right now. I didn't even have a chance to do my hair. This is like just woke up in this hair, went to the gym, and then took my son to the dentist for cavities. If you guys know what that's like with an anxious kid dealing with cavities, oh, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. And on days like that, I say, you know what? Throw makeup to the wind. Throw getting ready to the wind. Hair schmear. Hair schmear is what I say to that. Welcome to the show. Stars are just like us. Podcasters are just like us. We all look like crap together. I hope you guys look like crap with me today. Today is a day to look like the cat drug you in. What does that even mean, the cat drug you in? What is that? Welcome everyone to the show. I see you guys going off in the comments. As much as I want to just hang out with you in the comments and talk every single, like individually to every single one of you, I have to deliver a show. Because you know what? We're not just here for fun and games, guys. We're not just here for a fun, silly, stupid, like, I don't know, delusional, fun, hallucinogenic type of show. Although I would love a show like that. I want to come on here one day and just literally talk nonsense. Can't do that every day. I only do that for portions of every shirt. Of every shirt. I saw someone say, love the t-shirt, Donna. It's an MTV sweater. I have a sports bra on under, which I won't do for you guys. I just feel like, I have to be professional. That's why I have my glasses on today. Welcome to the show. Let's get into it. We've got some stories. We've got some nonsense to talk about. It's a slow news day, but you know what I notice about slow news days on Daily Dose of Donna on DDOD is that slow news days on DDOD tend to be some of the more fun ones because we just go on rants. We go on rants. We talk about all kinds of things. I'm just going to pull stuff from thin air. Just wait to see how random the stories are today. They couldn't get more random. We're going to have a fun one. Everyone get cozy, get comfy. Welcome. This is your daily dose of Donna. Do you guys dance along with the song with me? I mean, sometimes I literally am like, I love this song. Like, when are we going to release a single? I mean, from what I know, Sheena Shea she's redoing it. She's remixing. I feel the magic. Welcome, everyone. If you did not listen to Patreon that I released yesterday, every single Sunday I release a Sunday Fun Day episode. Yesterday I released an episode where I talked about my weekend. I had some highs, some lows of the weekend, and we talked about all kinds of other stories, which I'll touch on a little bit today. I did mention in the Patreon episode that I wrapped up the Scott Peterson documentary on Netflix. And I can't bring myself to watch the Peacock version because the Peacock version is like Team Scott. From what I've heard, it's Team Scott on the Peacock version. And it's the trailer from what I've seen and the clips from what I've seen are really the way of, trying to explain how Scott Peterson did not commit this crime. And my brain cannot wrap around a world in which Scott Peterson did not commit the crime. I mean, it's so obvious to me. And, you don't need to just watch a documentary. Just look at the facts. It's so obvious. So I will not be able to, I don't think I'm going to bring myself to watch the Peacock one. I don't want to. But Valerie's saying you need to watch the Peacock version to be fair. Do I need to be fair though? I guess I should be fair. Now, let me ask you guys in the comments, if you just had to put it out there, sound off in the comments right now. Do you believe Scott Peterson is guilty of murdering his wife, Lacey Peterson, 20 years ago? And that's if you guys, because I'm curious, maybe there's a lot of you that believe that he's innocent. Maddie says fair is overrated. Yes, guilty, guilty AF, guilty, guilty. He's 1,000% guilty. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, he's guilty. So, like, why? Why? Look, you can always come up with reasonable doubt and this and this and that. And honestly, that's what they said in the documentary. All they had to do was prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed the crime. But, like, even though I mean, there was a little bit of physical evidence with the hair that they found wrapped around like the tool that he used in the boat. There was a couple different things, but yeah, I mean, it's the whole story. The second Amber Fry, the second she got kind of involved and that story came out that he was not only having an affair, but living a double life, like legitimately. And I said this on Patreon last night, but like taking pictures with her, like being a stepdad to her cute little daughter. The second you realize that, you're like, oh, all credibility is out the window on this man because he was living a double life. Any person that lives a double life, not just an affair, but like really honestly tells the person, I am no longer married. I am single. So he gives this woman, and she even said, Amber, she's like, um, I'm not a mistress because a mistress is someone who knowingly has an affair with a married man. But if you are not aware that they are actually in a relationship or married, then how can you be a mistress? She was duped. She was duped. So, okay, a lot of you guys think, well, some comments just I think this is interesting. Callie says the Peacock version is just his family in denial. Hannah says the Peacock doc definitely made me reconsider. Oh, see, that's what I don't want to do, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. Valerie says, I want to believe he is guilty, but see, that's the thing. And Suki says he's guilty, but he didn't get a fair trial. Watch the Peacock one. Okay, so here's the thing with the trials, and we've all become trial experts. This is the craziest thing about social media and YouTube and documentaries and just being so in the know ever since the O.J. Simpson trial, and then of course we were part of so many live trials since then, and the Alec Baldwin recently, and the Karen Reed, and of course Scott Peterson, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many ways to like see how trial is such an important part, like creating a fair trial around anyone that's convicted. It's so important because little tiny mistakes, like look at the Alec Baldwin thing. How crazy was the Alec Baldwin story? Now, I still believe that Alec Baldwin should not have been charged, with full completely guilty in that crime. That's my personal belief. But he didn't even go to trial really because they just canceled it after the first few days. They dismissed it because of mistakes behind the scenes. It's wild. Now, this is interesting. Josh says, I saw a really convincing documentary with all of Scott Peterson's neighbors. I don't think he's guilty. Wow, 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 wow. That is really, really interesting. You said it a few times, Josh. I see the comment twice. You must really feel strong. What is that documentary? Try to find it for us. Should we be watching like 16 documentaries on Scott Peterson? There's just something about him that's just shady. Aw, Susan is telling me that Kelly Dodd is in Paris helping her daughter Jolie set up her apartment for college. I saw that. And then she said, just saw about an hour ago that Kelly said on Instagram that someone broke in and robbed Jolie. Oh, that is awful. That's just awful. I don't know about like what crime is like in Paris. I'm assuming it's pretty bad. Um, just like around the world, but that's really, really crappy. I'm so sorry for her. I like Kelly Dodd's daughter a lot. Jolie seems like a really, really good girl. It's so interesting. Housewives, for the most part, not all, but housewives, for the most part, raise really good kids. It's really interesting. Don't you guys feel that way? Like I just find like most of the kids that come out of the housewives world, I mean, the Teresa's kids, Melissa's kids, they all seem pretty on top of their ish. I'm talking like OG housewives, right? Um, Vicki Gunvalson's kids seem great. I mean, they've got their own lives, like interesting lives. Brianna, if you've ever gone down a rabbit hole of Brianna and her husband's Instagram, it is really an interesting one. Her husband's name is Ryan, right? He was the one that yelled at Lydia's mom at a birthday party at Vicky's house, like, "Get your feet off the couch," or something. So interesting. Yeah, the different housewives kids are, I mean, I'm excited. We're supposed to have this new show for Bravo coming out in the next few months. It's like the next generation of kids. I know like Brooks Marks is in it. That's Meredith's son, and Gia's in it, and I think Ariana Bierman is in it. Is it Bravo? I can't even remember. But anyway, it will be interesting to see what happens as we continue, seeing these kids grow up. And like, I'm curious what the second generation of Real Housewives kids are going to be like. Like Danielle, if Danielle Cabral and Rachel Fuda stay on Jersey, just say, like, what are their kids going to grow up to be like versus the first round, Teresa's kids? Um, yeah, I mean, so many of you guys are right now in the process of dropping your kids off at college, and that is really sad. Hearing about Jolie, and I hope that she's okay. I mean, I can't imagine how scary that is to drop your kids off at college when they're even in your own state. Imagine dropping off a kid in another country at 18 years old. Like, I can't even wrap my head around that. Anyway, so I told you, a slow news day is a wild and crazy ping pong ball ADHD brain of a day. And you know what? Come along for the ride. Like, let's work out our brain. What's funny? One of my new sponsors, I'm not even supposed to talk about it yet, but I've been taking this. I just started it yesterday, actually, this kind. So, Thesis is this new um company that I'm working with, and so you're gonna hear a little bit about them. But they sent me like a starter pack with a bunch of different kind. There's like Motivated, this one's Clarity, there's another one Focus, and there's another one Energize or something, I can't remember. This one says it's vitamins, and it says it supports a calm, focused flow. Clarity is especially useful when you need to perform at your best under stressful conditions. So this is best for high pressure days, maintaining concentration. I don't think it's kicked in yet. I just literally took it 5 minutes ago. So, and it's supposedly it takes a few days for it to kick in. And then it says tasks that require focus and attention. So this is good for like ADHDers. We'll have to see how it goes. And there's all kinds of things in it that are natural. There's a little caffeine. There's lion's mane mushroom, green tea, alpha grain, alpha GPC, and theanine. I'll let you guys know. Okay, so Wanda's asking really quickly before we get into the rest of the show, is the members live later today or Wednesday? So I scheduled a members only. For those of you that are members here in the YouTube community, you can hit join under my profile. If you can't figure it out, join the Facebook group or DM me on Instagram and I'll send you a link. But we will have a members only on Wednesday, because I am not going to do a live show on Wednesday since it's my kid's first day at school. So I have to do like a whole coffee morning breakfast thing. And then I'll come back here. So members only on Wednesday, the 28th at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and it stays up as a replay if you're a member. Ray is asking, this is not an MLM. This is not an MLM. No, Thesis is not an MLM. It's just like a supplement company that I'm going to get an affiliate code for. So I'll let you guys know more as we go on with that. Okay, let's go on to another story, or one of the big stories. So one of my dosers, I'm not calling her out, but she's always here. Sent me a DM last week saying, this is or 2 weeks ago, like between us, Vicki had a really bad health scare. And she was in the ICU, and she kind of mentioned a couple things, but she didn't have all the details. And then a few hours later, she said she's out, she's fine, everything's okay. But we didn't have like that many details. But now it's come out about Vicki Gunvalson. So Vicki Gunvalson was on her podcast. She has a podcast. I've talked about this a little bit. It's very cute, actually. It's with Christian Grace Snow. It's a random twosome, Christian Gray Snow and Vicky, but they've been friends for a while. Christian, he does a lot of Instagram content, like Bravo content, whatever. So they have a podcast together that's called My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast. And today, on today's episode, she was on the episode with Christian and her boyfriend Michael. And Michael and Vicky have been together for over a year, I wanna say. I met him with her at Jeff Lewis's party last year. He was so nice. She was actually so adorable. Like, I was, like, tripping. I'm like, "Vicki Gunvalson, like, what a star." I actually really enjoyed, chatting with him. And, I think Kelly Dodd actually introduced them, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, he was on the episode with Vicky because clearly, she is still definitely recovering. So, this is according to page 6, although I did listen to the podcast. It says Vicki Gunvalson details a terrifying health crisis that left her with amnesia. So, you guys, this is not a joke. Vicki Gunvalson had a misdiagnosed sinus infection. So basically what happened was earlier this month she developed amnesia seemingly out of nowhere. She says that there was an hour or two that she was missing and she has no idea where she was. She went to a hair salon. She remembers going to the hair salon and then she goes back to her office. And at her office, she was, I guess, talking gibberish. She was kind of like she was writing emails, Vicky always working at Kodo and sending stuff that like didn't sound or make any sense. And Olivia, who's her boyfriend Michael's daughter, works with her at Kodo. And so Olivia started to notice that something was up. And there was a client that was in the office. Was this client in the office? Yeah, the client was in the office and was a former ER doctor. And this client urged Olivia that Vicky could be having a stroke. So then Vicky says, I don't remember anything. Olivia took me to the hospital. And when she was at the hospital, the doctors misdiagnosed her with a sinus infection and discharged her from the hospital later that night. She started taking antibiotics. Olivia then called her dad, Michael, Vicky's boyfriend, who was in Scottsdale, and said, "You got to get over here ASAP." He comes over. He notices she's really lethargic. She's really out of it. She didn't really fully understand where she was. He said he asked her like, "What's my name?" And it took her about 15 seconds to say Mike and her birthday. Also, everything was really slow. He said that he went into the bathroom and she was in the bath, almost like passed out in the bath. So it could have been really dangerous. She literally could have died, like a Whitney Houston drowning situation. And then she was like kind of shuffling to her bed. She slept 13, 14 hours. He was like, something is up. This is definitely not good. He called her doctor. Um, he called doctors after describing one of the scariest moments of her health crisis in which he found her pretty much passed out in her bubble bath. He grabbed her, pulled her out of the water, put her in bed. She slept 13 to 14 hours, woke up totally out of it. He took her to the emergency room. And at the hospital, they found out that she had a massive infection. It was actually sepsis, but it was pneumonia. Now, in case you guys are wondering, I'm not a doctor. I know this is confusing because I'm wearing glasses, but I'm not a doctor. But sepsis, from what I've heard from so many people who have like severely gotten not only ill, so many die from sepsis. Sepsis is a severe, severe infection. And what Michael said is that when your body is fighting that big of an infection, and that dangerous of an infection, your whole body starts to attack it, which then affects the brain and everything else in your body because your body sends everything it has to fight it. So everything is going to fight this one deadly infection. And so everything else goes out of whack. Um, she started to cry. She was talking on the podcast. She was talking about how she spoke to a neurologist who calls her every day. And this woman told her she had a 10 to 20% chance of survival. She says, I cry a lot. And Michael keeps saying, why do you keep crying? She says, I don't have an answer. I mean, rewind a week ago, we were in Barcelona walking 16 to 20,000 steps a day, and we were having the time of our lives. And 3 days later, I'm in the hospital. Michael said that her health is improving. She will be fine. He's forcing her to be relaxed. She's actually like really relaxed Vicky is, I know that energy because I have Vicky energy. I always am on the go, 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 go. And yeah, it's really, really bad. Your guys' stories are telling me a lot of scary things about different bacteria, sepsis. My husband was in ICU for 2 weeks with sepsis, Kate says. Um, oh, wow. Trent says I had it. I couldn't remember my middle name or year. Um, she did have that staph infection while she was filming Real Housewives, and that was months ago, and it was such a gross scene, so I don't like to relive it in my brain. Even though I'm a doctor, I don't like to relive it, but in that moment, you remember she was like, "If you squeeze onto my stomach, you are a white puss." Gross. A white pus comes out. Um, so I don't know. I mean, infections are scary, very scary. And a lot of you guys are having your stories. I mean, your stories are really, really intense. Now, I want to say, because a lot of comments are coming in and I'm noticing them. That it's like, oh, it's Vicky. Oh, Vicky. Like, Vicky, yes, Vicky is dramatic. Yes, we've seen her, like, fly off the handle over small things. I don't think there's any part of this that she's creating, making bigger. You don't F around with, like, medical diagnoses and talking about the fact that you, like, seemed like you had a stroke. I believe this is a real deal thing, and, whether or not you wanna believe her or you like her, health is health, and she's not, a spring chicken. She's definitely getting older every single year. I mean, I don't know exactly how old she is at this point. And life, like health is everything we have. So I always hope that people stay healthy and I guarantee you, not saying that it is because of, but I guarantee you her stress levels don't help. I think Vicky lives her life very high stress, high intensity. And that's actually like a reminder for me and anyone else out there that is like a pretty stressed out person to like, it's so important. Stress is kind of, in my opinion, as a doctor, stress is like what festers and creates everything bad in your body. So many bad things that happen because of stress, right? Physically, emotionally, mentally. Um, so my suggestion is that we all take a moment and listen to some Enya. And that's honestly why I started puzzling, by the way. I puzzle. I just completed a new puzzle last night. It was a 1,000 piecer and it took me forever, but because it calms me down. I have nervous energy. I don't know if you guys can tell. I very rarely sit still. I play with my hair. I play with my clothes. Like I'm a fidgeter. I move a lot. I have a lot of energy in me. And it's hard for me to sit still and just watch a show or sit still and just do nothing. I can't just listen to a book or read a book in the middle of the day. So I have to be busy. And puzzling, honestly, is like such an important thing. That's why people, like, I think a lot of people crochet or puzzle or play games on their phone, whatever it is. It's just really, really important. Okay, go to the doctor. Dr. Donna says, go to the doctor. This episode is brought to you by Dr. Donna. It's actually brought to you by Jennifer Aniston. Yes, that's right. This episode is brought to you by my fave, lolav.com. Now, let me tell you, I did not take a shower today, in case you're wondering. I did not wash my hair today. So don't take my looks for it, but take my word for it. In fact, let's just watch Jen Aniston take a shower because this episode is brought to you by Lola V. Lola V is Jennifer Aniston's amazing beauty line, hair care line. And she understands, just like us, all the torture we put our hair through: frequent coloring, heat styling, hello stress. Vicki Gunvalson. Add that to the relentless summer elements like scorching sun and the ever pervasive humidity. So Jen was fed up with all of the damage and the choice between using hair products that worked versus the ones that were genuinely beneficial. And her solution was to create the answer she wanted. She worked with industry leading chemists to develop a new technology for the Lola V's lineup. Spending so much outdoor time this summer, your hair needs a rescue. Try the intensive repair treatment. This one product just once a week is an absolute game changer, according to Jen. I need to use that actually. Maybe I'll use that later in my shower. We're playing pickleball later. So after that. So check out all of Lola V products. Go to www.lolav.com. That's LOLAVIE.com and get 15% your entire order using code Dana 15. That's Donna 15. Make sure to tell them that you know about Lola V because of Daily Dose of Donna, D Dodd. D Dodd. Lots of you guys are, trying it out and you've gone and you've used the code. So thank you so much. I can't tell you if you are interested in buying something like Lola V and you hear Lola V being, advertised on a huge podcast, because Lola V is advertised on a lot of podcasts, right? Call Her Daddy or The Toast or all these other ones. I want you guys to think twice before using their codes and maybe use a smaller podcaster's code. I'm just saying, just saying. Just saying. So, oh, and note to all of you guys, let's take a moment to talk about my love for my dosers and how important it is that the community is all here. A lot of people are asking every day about Ask Mark Ward. Mark Ward is our man. He's always here in the chat. He's so funny. He makes us happy. He comes up with great points. I bring him up all the time. So I sent him a message. He hasn't been in the chat in a few days. I sent him a message over the weekend on Instagram just to make sure he's okay. And he is okay. And he said he's going through a little something, but he'll be back. And so everyone, I have no idea specifically what is wrong with Mark or what's going on, but Mark, we need you back. Okay? This isn't the same without you, my friend. We all miss Mark. So let's get Mark Ward back here. Someone send him this moment of the podcast. Let's go on to another story. We did talk about Joey Lawrence and the divorce, and I feel like it's only fair that we continue to talk about it because there's so many stories. At first, I talked about how the fact that his wife was divorcing him or filing for divorce after just 2 years, and then was like, full custody of the daughter and didn't trust him with the daughter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now we're finding out that apparently he had an affair with his co-star, this woman, Melina Alves. And I talked about this up on Patreon because there's something about these low budge, made for TV movies that just create affairs. Okay. It's like what you don't get in salary, maybe, is what you get in love. Leanne Rimes and Eddie Cibrian. We've got Tori and Dean. We probably have so many others. But allegedly, he ended up falling in love with his co-star and the writer of his film, Socks for Christmas, or something like Go Socks for Christmas or Socks Up for Christmas. Anyway, they had apparently this love bombing affair. And now there's an article that's just come out that says, when Joey Lawrence embarked on a rumored on-set affair with his co-star Melina Alves, many were quick to assume that that was his cause of the June 7th legal separation from estranged third wife Samantha Cope, who filed for divorce on August 13th. But now, according to People, and this insider, according to People, is probably Joey Lawrence's, publicist. This insider says they had troubles from the beginning of their relationship. Infidelity is not the cause, not by a long shot. He had gotten to the point where he had hit his limit defending his kids, his mom, and his family to Samantha. So Samantha, according to this insider, Joey Lawrence's publicist, is the problem. It says last Thursday, TMZ obtained divorce documents submitted by this Melina Alves, this woman's ex-husband, Edward Ryder, who alleged that they had an affair starting in late March. But of course, they're trying to say that didn't happen. We never had an affair. I want to say probably both are true. I imagine that the marriage wasn't great and he had an affair. That's my assumption. And I'm sticking to it. Sticking to it. But yeah, if your husbands or wives get jobs on a Lifetime Christmas movie, get your binoculars on and start doing some, major spying. Something is amiss over in Toronto. It's always in Toronto. All of these affairs start somewhere in Vancouver, Toronto, or Montreal. Why? These are just Canadian moments, Everyone is saying so sorry, April. Oh, I'm just reading. Oh, April says her mother died from sepsis. I'm so sorry, you guys. I love all of you, and I feel so bad when I read these comments that, like, of people going through tough times. So, anyway, I am so sorry. Okay. Let's move on. Joey Lawrence apparently had an affair, didn't have an affair. Honestly, I told you today's a slow news day. Now, this story just kind of jumped out at me today, and it was about Danielle Cabral. So there is some rumors about the husband with Danielle Cabral, and it's actually not about her husband, but it's about her brother and his wife. Danielle Cabral does not speak to her brother. We know this because it's been a storyline. And in fact, she stopped talking to her dad even because of the way allegedly that he handled this situation. So no one really understands the story. It's very vague on the show. We don't have all the knowledge. Tamra Judge, who's everyone's favorite person this season on Real Housewives. Tamra Judge on her podcast, Two Teas in a Pod with Teddy Mellencamp, was talking to Melissa Gorga, and mentioned what she had heard of why um, Danielle was not talking to her brother. This is all alleged, and this is just a clip from Two Teas in a Pod, Tamara Judge talking about this. And I want you guys to listen to it because this is just what she said. This is obviously alleged. And I'm curious what you guys think.
To me and say, I know why Danielle doesn't talk to her brother. And I didn't respond to this person at all. And she went on to tell me that Danielle beat up her brother's wife. Allegedly.
Yeah, we heard that.
What? Allegedly. So yes, this person's like, I know why. It's because she beat up her brother's wife and all this stuff. And and it's like, I'm like, okay, whatever. You know how you get those people from your past?
This I have never heard. This I promise you is the first. Look at Tamara breaking the first time I've ever heard anything like.
But
this.
Also, why?
I'm not saying it's
so
true. I'm
much
just saying. I had somebody.
Okay. So that is the clip of Tamara talking about that to Melissa with Teddy. Do I think that that's possible? Abso-freaking-lutely. We've all seen Danielle. We know her energy. I'm sure family dynamics are complicated. Do I think it is a little bit shady of Tamara to put out there as the story on her podcast when she has no proof? I could tell you right now all the DMs I get about all the things. I get DMs and I am like on the verge of like, or compared to a Tamara and how many DM she gets, but it's kind of like that Dumois thing, right? Anyone can send in anything. Anyone can send in any blind about anything. Anyone can tell anyone everything or anything. People can write on Reddit whatever they want. And it's really actually so scary because in 2024, you don't really have any way to protect yourself if someone wants to say something. Someone right now can put into a DM to anyone like the most outrageous, wild thing, and they can go on their podcast. But Tamara has a huge, huge audience, and their podcast does very well. And they had Melissa Gorga on their episode, and it was like probably a very popular episode. So to put this out there based on, just some random DM, it wasn't like she didn't say, listen, this is from a trusted source that I know, that I vetted. This is not about this or that. Like, this feels so out of left field for her to put out there. And I just wonder why she felt the need to share this in a public way when she has absolutely no confirmation. She literally could have said, I think Danielle is not talking to her brother because of, and it could have been anything. She tried to poison him. She tried to, injure him. Like anyone could have said anything. So I don't know if that's the case, but this just hurts the family. Like, it's definitely going to hurt the dad. It's definitely going to hurt the mom. It's definitely going to hurt the sister-in-law, Danielle, the brother. I don't know. I always just get a little bit concerned. Melissa according to this little clip, was like, I have never one time ever heard that. And then Danielle just today, I think, was posting on Instagram pictures of her and Melissa at some sort of something. So I don't know exactly if, what the deal is there. But when you Google the story about Danielle and her sister-in-law, a lot of the news sources that come up are Teresa fan accounts. I don't need to name them for you guys to know what I'm talking about. There's a few accounts out there that are insanely pro Teresa, like over the top pro Teresa, where you know that you're not even getting the real news from them because it's beyond bias. It's like everyone says Teddy Mellencamp is so biased for Tamra or for Kyle Richards. This is like even more so. So whenever you see that is the news source, you have to question your sources. There's a reason that someone's trying out there to make Danielle look even worse. Is it possible, like I said, that it happened? Absolutely. I mean, we've seen her aggressive. We've seen her angry. We've seen her passionate. It can happen, but it just does feel a little bit crazy if, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, let's think about it. Who is Tamra close with in the Jersey cast? I know she used to have a little bit of drama with Teresa. Obviously, she's close with Melissa because Melissa was just on her show and she was on Melissa's show. Um, who else? Huh, Maddie says maybe because Jim Leonard called Tamra and told her to do it. Is Tamra in with Marge? Is Tamra in with yeah, Marge was just on their show, wasn't she? Marge was just on 2Ts. Did I make that up? I didn't listen to it, but I wonder if that's the case. I'm so like I'm so over the rumor mill going behind the scenes of the Jersey. Like they're not even on TV and we can't get rid of it. We can't move on from it, Anyway, I don't know. I mean, Wanda says, why does Tamra need to put her hand in every soup and spoil it? That's definitely not an American statement to make. Put her hand in every soup and spoil it. I freaking love that statement. That's definitely something I've never heard. I guess you spoil soup by putting your hand in it. I didn't really know that. Tamra's job is to be a shit stirrer. Seriously, it's her job on Housewives, and she does a very good job of it. I know a lot of you guys don't like Tamra, but you can't say that she's a bad housewife, right? You can't say that she's bad on TV. She's maybe not who you would want to be her friends with, but I don't know personally if she is I couldn't say she's bad on TV. I think she adds a lot of good stuff. Now, she also is in the podcast game. And if you are in the podcast game where you're breaking down housewife shows and you're breaking down reality shows, this is your job. You're going to get your hand in shit. Like I get yelled at. I get people saying bad things about me because I have opinions. And so she is just sharing it. I don't know if she should have shared it without having a little bit more knowledge, because I think the bigger you are as a podcaster, the more it's more important to really, really like clarify your sources. But she did say it's alleged. You know how you get DMs. Who knows if it's true? She definitely put it like that. But it's really interesting. I don't know. Tamra trips me out. I really like her though. Like I don't want to be her friend, and I definitely don't want to be her co-star on a show. Because to be on Tamra's bad side is like poo, 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 But I do like Tamra. I do. But like, I also, can't stand Alexis Bellino. And that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the season of OC. There has to be like, we have to separate ourselves. We're watching a show. And I love to hate people on the shows I watch. If you only like the people, it makes it very, very boring. Like, for example, Love Island UK finally wrapped it up last night. Not going to give you guys any spoilers, but I genuinely almost liked every single person on that show. Like, I genuinely liked everyone. It was kind of boring. I loved the show. I thought it was a great, great cast, but everyone was likable. There wasn't anyone that was horrible or really off. On past seasons of Love is Blind in the American version, there's always like a couple of people that you're just like, wow, they suck. None of that. So, okay. Maddie says Louis hasn't said anything gross in a week or so. I think he finally got the muzzle. I think Teresa's team or Louis' team were like, shut the F up. Don't say a word. Yeah. I mean, he needs to go into a quiet zone. He and Blake Lively need to hide at Taylor Swift's mansion in Rhode Island and just disappear from the world for like a few weeks. Notice Blake Lively has not said a word. She's staying very quiet. She's doing her own thing. She's probably hoping that this all flies over, that it ends with us drama. It's been a few days since we've talked about it. She's gotten a forever scar because of this experience, just like Louis. Poor Louis and Blake Lively really had some bad weeks. Who knew? All of a sudden, Louis is like, I'm in the same sentence as a superstar. And they all have something to do with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is the bridge between Louis and Teresa and Blake Lively. Remember when Louis and Teresa ran into Taylor Swift and took pictures with her? Oh my gosh, so funny. Okay. Any other stories that we need to talk about? There was one other thing I wanted to mention, and honestly, I'm just glad that we're not talking about J-Lo and Ben Affleck for the first time in a long time, right? Like, I'm so happy to not talk about that. I guess that's it, you guys. I don't know what else to talk about. Can't wait for Summer House to come out. We keep seeing lots of pictures about, of Lindsay Hubbard being out and about, looking very cute and pregnant. We see Kyle Cook DJing up a storm. This random story, you guys, in like, on my favorite show, The Toast, I love The Toast. They always say at the end of the week, they do a Queenie and a Meanie of the week. I need a word for like the cringiest moment of the day. And the cringiest moment of the day goes to Joe from Vanderpump Rules. If you guys remember, Joe, my gosh, Joe was Tom Schwartz's on again, off again girlfriend. Like, weird, honestly, very, very odd person on Instagram. And she posted a video on her Instagram, or it was like a dump, basically. I'll just share it with you guys. This is months and months after she and Tom Schwartz stopped talking, stopped hanging out, stopped being in love or whatever they were. He has a new girlfriend apparently. And she says, "Here we go. P.S. It took me months to post this, but it's so sweet. I wanted the world to see and know how wonderful whatever this was. This is me moving on." And it's a whole video of her and Tom Schwartz over that probably summer that they spent time together. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to watch. Rachel Leviss comments, shaky leg in the pink Vans. It's like, it's a little too late. It feels like we gotta move on, Joe. Joe, my gosh, it's been good, but that show has jumped the shark. And unfortunately, you were with it when it jumped the shark. Move on, my friend. You and Rachel Leviss, you need to move on just like everyone else is. Speaking of a Vanderpump Rules moment, Amanda Bynes was at Schwartz and Sandy's over the weekend. Amanda Bynes, from all of that, from the Amanda show, Amanda Bynes, what a story. What I would do to go into Schwartz and Sandy's and see Amanda Bynes. Like, where were Tom and Tom for that moment? You guys, I love you. Thank you for randomly just chatting with me today about all kinds of things. It was a random one. It was definitely a ping pong day, and I appreciate all of you guys being here. The chat is a-flowing. Make sure to rewatch and join the live chat so you can see what everyone is saying. The replay is always there. Subscribe, 5-star review and rating on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts means the world to me. Buy Lola V and use code Donna15. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I will talk to you later. Love you. Bye.